Ladies and gentlemen, lovers of war, traders of great renown, I, the Strategic Indian, bid you welcome to my channel, where our motto is think, practice thinking. In this episode, we shall eliminate the devious Caledonians. We shall declare war on all the factions we can currently see on the campaign map, and finally break all useless buildings, especially religious ones, to gain gold, a process we shall call Caledonification. We shall first take out the Caledonian army which is outside of their city. Starting in dry weather, we do our deployment in the following fashion. Cohorts are kept to the left, while guerrilla deployable units are moved to the far left portion of the map. This will allow them to quickly move into hiding positions. Cohorts are accompanied by levies amatoriae, and the Limitani border guard are finally placed on the right flank, and we go to start the battle. The Limitani border guard will take up positions behind this clump of trees, while the cohorts, the levies amatoriae and the cavalry and the Celtic javelins will take up positions in this clump of forest, where they will be rendered invisible to the enemy. We make sure to put all of our javelins inside where the trees are the densest, so that the enemy is unable to see them. The cohorts will provide protection if the enemy decides to charge our ranged units with their cavalry. The general is protected by a sword and an axe unit. Our Limitani border guards have reached the clump of forest and taken up defensive positions with the defensive testudo. Having these trees in front reduces the damage they take from the archers firing at them. We move forward our cavalry to another clump of trees nearer to the enemy. This provokes a response from their own cavalry, which comes forward to meet our own. Now, as I've said before, javelin cavalry are very difficult to use and very difficult to fight against. So if you have even numbers, the enemy javelin cavalry will always win. They will fire more shots, they will do more damage, and they will have higher morale. This is the problem when you play with legendary difficulty in Attila. So you can clearly see we have two javelin cavs against two of theirs, while ours are taking far higher damage. So we move our cavalry backwards. This is actually a trap that we are setting up for the enemy. And we move our general with his accompanying troops further back, because the entire army of their enemy, except their cavalry, is moving out towards the general. So we're going to move behind the clump of trees where our units are actually hiding. This will allow us to have a heavy volley thrown at the cavalry. Once the cavalry of the enemy is eliminated, they lose their mobility on the field. Especially these javelin cavalry is something that I have a lot of respect for. Our infantry is holding up quite nicely in testudo formation. The enemy could have put their javelins in a slightly better positions, but yeah, we are not complaining. So we move our javelins forward to throw our projectiles at the enemy cavalry. They can sense that there are units in the forest, so they are keeping a healthy distance. However, we keep our infantry and our cavalry quite nearby. So here you can see that one unit of the enemy takes a lot of hits, while the other one just cavalierly charges our javelin. So we move our cavalry in. It's a bit of a mess down here. So the second unit comes in to charge, however it gets all the volleys in the face. So our projectile units are going to reposition, because this area is so filled with our own troops. If we try to fire into this clump, we will be taking a lot of damages from our own units. One of their javelins are running, the second one is about to. As you can see, that it's a clear advantage. We have a lot of troops, but yeah, one of their cavalry is doing significantly more damage to our javelin cavalry. So the enemy's javelin has finished firing, so it's trying to come into melee, which is extremely stupid. So we move our Limitani border guards to go and attack. Meanwhile, we move our all our projectiles to try and kill the enemy general. We try to move our general and his accompanying infantry towards a clump of forest where they can hide. So the enemy at this point has lost all of its cavalry, so they are all off the field. This gives us tremendous mobility, although we have quite a lot of weakened cavalry thanks to the enemy. So we move our cavalry to help our Limitani border guards, who are struggling with the archers and the javelins. Our own javelins are now firing at the general. If you're lucky, you might kill the general over here. Spoiler alert, in this fight we really have a lot of difficulty killing the general. So we're spreading out our cavalry, because if they're clumped up and they throw projectiles, they hit each other, so you get a lot of friendly fire. We are repositioning our own infantry. We're moving our general back. The enemy general is getting hit in the back, but yeah, somehow he just keeps surviving. The guy's a survivor. So one of our cavalry has engaged the enemy javelins, and the Limitani is moving into support. Meanwhile, we continue to pepper the general with projectiles. I think at this point the enemy realizes that the general is really unprotected, so it leaves one of these archers to fire on our general. So we put him in protective testudo while we charge that archer unit with one of our cavalry units. So we are mopping up in the back over there. Continue to fire, however the general is going behind its protective infantry. We split up our cavalry so that we can distract the javelins of the enemy, which is still filled, which has still got full ammo. So that's this weaker unit, because it's better to go for the stronger unit to take out the archers, which were previously firing on our general. Our general is also going to close and help our cavalry take out that archer unit. So we start firing at the advancing infantry. We move our own infantry closer to support. So this is the weaker cavalry, which is providing a lot of distraction to the enemy and making sure that their javelins don't fire. I trigger the skirmish ability of our units a couple of times to make sure that they maintain some distance with the enemy. This makes it harder for them to fire, because they continuously just keep running away instead of firing. So we engage on the right hand side with the enemy infantry. Meanwhile, we are going to run while peppering this sword unit with all the javelins we can. Our Limitani is mopping up in the back over there and moving forward to support. So we see that the general can be taken out, so we move our cohorts. However,
men are broken and running for their lives.
Yeah, the general keeps on moving away. So in this battle, it's really important, again, just as we had with the first Alemannic army, that make sure that nobody escapes. So any survivors running off has less than 10 units left in their system. So that's why it's quite nice that we have very low cavalry, but our infantry is able to kill a lot of their leves amatore, their archers, etc., etc. So it's very important to keep on checking. Yeah, so we check over there, this unit has less than 10, so it can move forward to attack and help its brother Limitani border guards. We move our cohorts away because they can be hit in a flank charge. Meanwhile, we fire again at the general, hoping to get him, because that would be a tremendous morale blow to the enemy. And all these units which are running away won't be able to regroup and fight. However, if you are very low on cavalry, try to keep the enemy general alive, and so that you are longer in melee with the enemy. So your melee troops will be killing a lot more soldiers, because yeah, you can't catch them because you don't have any cavalry. So it's better that you stay longer in the fight. So for example, the Limitani, which is taking out the enemy javelins, that unit is wavering. It's not beginning to run. So if you notice in the back, the javelins had caught up with our general and started firing at our general, and I noticed that, so I sent in the cavalry and the general to take out that javelin unit. So make sure you're keeping an eye out at these things, because you don't get warnings every time your general is attacked. There's only you get one warning per battle. So it's very important to keep a bigger picture in the whole situation. So we're moving our javelins to better positions to fire. We are going to attack their infantry with our axes. Axes versus swords, there's a clear advantage of axes. So all the infantry that they have left, they are really not able to do much. So their numbers are not going to count for much. Their general is running, so that's a moral debuff. The general is not dead, but running. So in the top center, you can see that one unit is moving very close to our general and our cavalry, so we move him back. But given that his close proximity, I asked the general to just turn around, give a war shout, a war cry at this unit and engage it, because sometimes when you're running away, the general is left behind, and then under these conditions you don't want to lose your general and a family member or a patrician. So there we go, we got it. There we go. Yeah. Clean death. So we lost quite a lot of people in this one. It can be done better, but this is a very tricky fight. Unlike the Alemannic fight, the first Alemannic fight, where the enemy doesn't have any cavalry, and God forbid no javelin cavalry. Wherever you have javelin cavalry in the enemy's ranks, yeah, be afraid. Be very afraid. So we're gonna take up 2 of the remaining mercenaries. We're not going to take up the Celtic mercenary onager. This is a Celtic mercenary onager, doesn't cost a lot, but we are not going to take it because this will be a similar fight to the fight which we had with the Cadians on episode 2, chapter 1. So it's a similar fight. We are going to use similar tactics. There is no point reinventing the wheel. We go in when it's dry. We shall put our cavalry and the cohorts on the right flank. We are going to put the Limitani border guards on the left flank, which are going to throw torches. As always, we throw torches with the weaker unit, because there are lesser of them for the enemy to fire on and concentrate. So we move one of our weaker Limitani border guards forward. However, this time there is an archer unit near to the tower, so make sure you don't approach the tower under these conditions, because your infantry is going to get shredded. These are pretty competent archers. So we're gonna play dodge arrows by making the enemy trying to predict where we are going to be and fire at that position. So yeah, so as soon as they fire, you can see that all of their arrows have been fired. That's when you run. So sometimes something can happen that some of your troops scatter and they can get hit. So that's what we did back there. And now we're going to hide behind this hovel again and start throwing torches. Pretty standard. If there is another archer unit, make sure that you exhaust the ammunition of the archer units before you start throwing torches, because your units will be stationary. They will not be able to get into Testudo, so you won't get any missile block chance. And yeah, that will be devastating. So we've set fire to this tower over here, and we will reposition very soon. Let's watch this one burn. This is a town which we are going to actually occupy. So we have troops in our army which have got the raider ability. So they set fire to buildings very much faster, but we're not going to use those units to set fire because we want to take this city as intactly as possible. So we move our ranged units forward to start peppering up the enemy. If you check out the Limitani border guards, I didn't move them all the way up to the wall, the fences of the enemy, because I noticed that the archers which are inside and near the enemy stronghold were firing parallel to the ground. And if you are in Testudo, that can be blocked very well. Also, the fence provides some protection. However, if you're really next to the fence, then they will fire in an arch, because the archers are pretty smart. And then your infantry will get shredded behind the fence. So I'm going to move in one unit of projectiles at a time forward. So they are going to exhaust their ammunition and then move back. I always keep the ammunition, the ranged units which have run out of ammunition in plain view. So then the AI remembers that they are in the field, because if they are hidden, then the AI momentarily forgets. And they might then think, hey, I have a great chance, let me go charge out of the city. So you don't want that. You want them all bottled and corked up. So here we can see that one of these Javcavs have moved forward and they are trying to take out our Limitani border guards, which is standing behind these nice fences. The archers are also firing. They're not doing a lot of damage. So javelins are pretty good, very high ammunition, not for a starting unit with 8 to 9 javelins. That's pretty good with quite a lot of damage, 90 damage. Most units have hit points of 100, 200 or something, so after a few shots they're done. It'll just go through their faces. So here we go, we continue to fire, and we're using one unit at a time. We notice on the right flank that the javelins of the enemy are moving forward to attack our cohorts. So we quickly move all of our cavalry to charge at the javelins, which are moving out of the city, and making sure that the cohorts stay out of range, because if this javelin unit is able to catch up with the cohorts and do one javelin volley, yeah, that's game over for this unit. They have their backs turned, they won't be able to turn or get into Testudo. So here comes our cavalry. Here the pathfinding was pretty stupid, so the charge is basically a 1 out of 10. However, what we are succeeding in is, one, they are not able to catch up to our cohorts, and two, if we are able to do another cycle charge, we will eliminate this unit out of the battlefield. So we move in our own infantry to help. Meanwhile, we have finished all the projectiles, so we move our cohorts to the center from the right flank to donate their projectiles. Right, so here our cavalry is doing an okay job. It's face to face with melee, so therefore I pull out the scout equities so there you can go. They're going back, and let's watch this charge. This is one of the best charges I've seen in this game so far. So here comes our scout equities. They're gonna do a hammer and anvil, and javelins in place, and whack! There we go. That's a whack. This is a great charge again. This is a 18 out of 10. This is better than the one that we did on the javelins which were outside that German, that Alaman city. That one was a 14 out of 10. This is 18 out of 10. It's fantastic. So again, we move our cavalry towards the right flank, but while I was relocating, the cavalry of the enemy moves out, and I have to support that cavalry unit with our infantry, which were luckily nearby. You can clearly see that even if you have even numbers, enemies' javelin cavalry will just do more damage than yours can even hope. It's like they are equipped with toothpicks, while the enemy's javelin cav is got sledgehammers. So we reposition our Limitani border guards near the fence so that the enemy's javelins inside the city try to fire at them. So we move forward our specialized infantry, so that's axes and swords. So their swords will not really stand a chance against our axes. They retreat back into the city, but we press the attack. Here you can clearly see that the Limitani border guards were moving quite a lot in front of that fence, and that fence broke. So I have to quickly reposition them behind the fence. So keep a situational awareness whenever you're fighting these battles, that you're always scanning every part of your screen. Given that there is a javelin unit with full ammunition, I put forward the minimum number of infantry required to win, because if this javelin unit gets one volley in this dense mass of our soldiers, it will be pretty devastating. So here comes the javelin cav. Let's see where they fire. Yeah, they're going after clumped infantry. So, well, at least there will be a few of their men who are going to be hit, so that will lower the number of people we will be losing. So to distract, I move forward our cavalry to the right flank. So because the enemy does not have anything guarding positions over there, the javelins and the rest of the very weak units try to go back and protect that. So you can play mind games like that. So they realize that yeah, I'm just keeping the cavalry there and not moving. So they approach, and this time they notice the infantry, the Limitani border guards, which is standing behind these fences. So one javelin got through, somebody got one in the face. But yeah, this fence is protecting us quite well. Meanwhile, our specialized infantry is just raking up the kills. Enemy is coming in piecemeal and getting wrecked wholesale. Look at that fence. Just look at that fence. Oh, look at that fence. It's filled with javelins. And when enemy infantry tries to move in front, as you can see over there, a few of their own people will get hit by their own javelins. So right now the javelin has quickly switched focus, so I'm going to use our specialized infantry to charge the javelins, because there is no point standing in place and taking the shots in the face, even if the enemy's ammunition is low. So I charge them. That is going to trigger their skirmish ability and make them run away. And now I'm going to move all of our units towards the enemy stronghold. One of the enemy's JFKF is going to try to charge our infantry. It's extremely weak, so I don't even stop. I tried to stop, but yeah, I was like, okay, this charge is going to be very ineffectual. So might as well just take it and keep moving there. That JFKF is running. We're gonna just keep on chasing down this last unit of javelins of the enemy, and meanwhile I will move the cavalry to do one devastating charge. So here comes our cavalry. There's a scout equities, they run around, and another charge. Wow, that's another charge. This is again an 18 out of 10 charge. This is fantastic. This is a fantastic charge. It's a great pity that the number of scout equities we have left is below 10, so this unit is going to be eliminated. You can see the Scottish king over here, the Caledonian king. He's hiding behind this barricade. We're going to move our remaining weak cavalry towards the back, and we will use all of our specialized infantry. Here comes our cavalry. This unit is going to be eliminated, so might as well pull off as much use as I can with them. So there are just 6 of them left, but yeah, it will be devastating. So the enemy is going to turn around momentarily, but yeah. Yeah, so yeah, we got the entire city captured, so every one of their survivors and the garrison are going to be eliminated. And if we occupy the city after sacking it once for some money, then Caledonians are going to be eliminated.
We hunger for battle.
We're going to sack it once.
At your command.
There we go. We gained some traits. We gained traditions. We're going to put it into these 2 units. We'll hire the mercenary Celtic onager, because the next target is going to be the Picts at Tuesis, which is a walled city, and I don't want the enemy to pick up this onager. This is a Celtic onager, so again it costs less money. And let's occupy. There we go. Caledonians are out. That's 3 factions wiped out before the end of turn 1. We're going to do a little bit of housekeeping over here, and we're going to hire 3 Limitani border guards, because we are going to expect attacks. So Picts join a war against the Saxons. No, that means a war. There we go. Let's go. War. Markomans, I never liked them. War. Getulis. War. Franks. War. Bastarnians. Oh, you betcha, that's gonna be a war. Garamantians? Do you want to trade agreement? No. War. Angles. War. Morians. Let's go for it. War. Now, the Eastern Roman Empire. Let's go. Yeah, so one of their puppet states has actually revolted, so it will now enter into a fight with Nobatia. They have a lot of sass to say to us, but yeah, I don't think they will be able to do much. Nobatia is going to get into trouble with us. Ghassanids are going to get war declared on them.
What you say?
Yazagis, yeah, don't care about you much. Declare war. Geats, Emo Boy, here you go, war. Who else is left? Entians, you betcha, war. Let's go. and
Do not attempt to
Gepids.
sweeten truth
So
with honey.
let's go.
Speak.
War. So they are joined
I
by
have
the
little
Huns.
gain in
We are
wasting the
already
day
at
on
war
you.
with that faction.
What you say had better
Milango
please my
bards.
ears.
Nah. War. There we go. And I think with that, we are at war with all the factions. So let's carefully go over it. Yeah, I think so. So you can also go to the tab over there, the last button, and then you can check that you are actually at war with everybody. So we are, before the end of turn 1, at war with all the factions that we can currently see. Next is going to be province management. So we'll start with the weakest province, giving the least amount of money, and we're going to break the farm over here in Caledonia at Hibernia. At Maxima Secundarium, we are going to destroy the church. We're going to destroy this supply field. This Argentoratum needs a very strong garrison. Reti Noricum, we are going to destroy the church. We're going to open up a slot in the main, and at Virunum, we're going to break down the forest because we have captured a forest in Caledonia. Britannia Superior, we're going to leave untouched. Lusitania, the rally fields need to go. We're going to open up a slot in the main city, and we're going to break up the iron mines over there. Iboracum, church needs to go. The rally field needs to go. And we're going to open up slots in the main and the small towns. We're going to keep the lead mine because then it will help us make sanitation for cheap. Belgica is a frontier province, so we're going to leave the main city at level 2 with these units. We're going to break down the forests. The workshop we're going to keep for a bit of money. They don't give public disorder. We're going to break the church. At Colonia Agrippina, we have industry, so yeah, I'm going to keep it because it's going to give us some money. Venetia, very important province, so there goes the church. We'll open up a slot. Rally field will go. That little Latin baptistry will go. The guardhouse will go. The military jetties will go. Because the point is to not have the enemy come over here. So yeah. So now at Mauritania, we open up slots. At the main town, we are going to go for capturing the Mauryan city, which will help us complete this province. Baetica, church needs to go. And we open up slots. We keep the quarry to help lower the construction. The other workshop goes. Liguria, this is our capital. This has tremendous food issues, so we're going to break down the main city. We're going to break the church. We're going to break the rally fields. We're going to keep the theater. And we're going to break the garrison encampment. At Genoa, we're going to open up a slot, and here we are already going to put in an order for a mine or for marble, because we used to get marble from trading, and there will be no trade because this is total war. Dalmatia, we're going to get rid of the rally fields because we are going to convert all of Pannonia into a gigantic recruitment center because it's pretty centrally placed. A better point for recruitment is actually Maxima Secundarium, given that you have iron mines over there, so you get recruitment at a discount. However, money will not be an issue, say, after 30 plus turns. So Pannonia Church goes, rally fields will stay because we will recruit units. We'll open up a slot here because we need guard houses. This is a frontier province. Everything is going to come and crash and burn. So we have to open up slots over here while keeping the bathhouse because sanitation is also important. So we open up a slot in Supine for a future guardhouse. We go over to Tripolitana. We come back to Pannonia because the furs can be gotten rid of. We are not going to tax this province, so we don't need food in this province. And we don't need furs for any buildings. Only the Lombards need furs to make an end game building. So we don't need this. We don't need the food. We don't need the furs for anything because we are not going to be able to trade. So that has to go. And yeah, let's go over to Tripolitania. Church needs to go. We will face some attacks if in case from the Eastern Roman Empire at Marcomedes. So that's why I keep the fishing jetty over there, because that's an extra ship that we get for free from the garrison fleet. While we break down the advanced fishing jetty at Sabrata, there is enough food even after the demolition. In Insulae Occidentalis, we're going to take out the church. We open up slots, we break the military jetty for money, and we're going to open up a slot at Palma for food. Luctugenesis, Luctunensis, church needs to go, all churches need to go, and we open up a slot. We're going to keep the theater. Now let's break it because I need the money. I need the money. This part will have issues with rebellion, but I think I'll be able to counter it. Let's move on to Italia. Very important province again for money. So suffering from a lot of food problems. So we're going to break the church, break the main city. We're going to keep the quarry because we need the lower cost of construction, and open up a slot in Florencia to build a food building. Later what we're going to do is we're going to convert the quarry into a tanner so that we can get advantage of more income from animal husbandry. We're going to break Neapolis because we don't expect fighting over here from tier 2 to tier 1 in Magna Graecia. We break the military jetty, church needs to go. We open up slots in the main and in Rhegium. Yeah, tier 2 needs to become tier 1, which will help us with the food shortage that we have over here. Carthagenesis, again, the Spanish provinces will be giving a lot of public order issues, but we'll deal with it. So yeah, we're gonna convert this to auditorium. We're not going to break it because if we break it and make it, it's going to cost 3,000 versus if we try to convert it, we can make it for 2,300. So the second tier city needs to go in Carthagonova because it's a walled city, and with a single level 1 I'll be able to hold off any rebellion which happens here. And Toletum has its own guardhouse, so that's also nice. Terracogenesis, tough province again for public order. So church needs to go. And we're going to keep the quarry, and we're going to break down the... Yeah, so the quarry is going to get converted into a tanner, and the wheat fields are going to be broken down and rebuilt into either a goat farm, a sheep farm, or a cattle farm, because I'm pretty sure if I break this one down, I'll get more money than if I just convert it. So that's a lot of math. Let's move on to Aquitania. This is quite a rich province because it has got a gold mine. So that gold mine just stays. We open up a slot, and in Avaricum we're going to break down one level of guardhouse because it's more than what I need to protect. The little chapel needs to go. This province has a lot of food, so the fishing jetty can go because I get that money back. And I don't need the garrison fleet from that level 2 fishing jetty. Yeah. Moving on to Africa. Church needs to go. Second tier city needs to go. We'll open up slots in the main. So here also we have a chance to have a marble mine, but we are not going to use that because we have one in Liguria and one is all we need. Yeah, so here again we're gonna destroy this fishing jetty because we have enough food in the bank coming in. No, we're gonna keep it and do a conversion. That's cheaper. Yeah, yeah. Moving on to Galicia, very rich province because it has got gold mines again. So Western Roman provinces have a lot of gold in them, which is fantastic. We open up slots in the main. This will again be a public order nightmare. So here we are going to break the workshop and get some food in. Or no, over here we're gonna make a bathhouse because we can't build a bath in the main city. At an Arbenensis, we're gonna break down the market because we have one market in Pannonia to recruit our spies or in. Here we're gonna break down the. Okay, so what we're gonna do? We're gonna open up a slot in Vienna, and we're gonna break down the industry in Narbo. We're gonna open up a slot in Vienna which will become a tanner. The industry which has been broken down is going to be another field which can give a lot of money. So there'll be 2 sheep farms which will be built, which will give a lot of money, which will be coupled with the tanner, giving quite a lot of income coming from Narbo. Next, for assignment of officers, we go for all the second tier generals. Right, final checks done. We are ready to end the turn. So we have done all the diplomacy. We have declared war on everybody, and let's do the end turn. So we expect the Abdanians to hit us. Here they come with 2 fleets, and now we're gonna take this to the next episode. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for a lot of Total War. This is the Strategic Indian signing out.